welcome back. I'm going to be going through the final memory verse of this series. So you may remember a couple of weeks ago I did a verse on Jeremiah 29 verse 11, and within that I briefly mentioned that there's another verse about being tested and tempted and talk about how God may allow that. But then I said there wasn't time then to really focus on that. But this week I'm going to look at a verse that might help us to sort out that issue, which is can be found in 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 13. Just briefly beforehand, so it mentions temptation in the verse, but the Greek word for temptation in this verse can also mean testing. So it says, "No temptation has overcome you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it." Now, some of that might be a little bit confusing, so I'm going to read it in the Message as well, as hopefully that will make it a bit easier to understand what the verse is getting at. So in the Message it says, "No test or temptation that comes your way is beyond the course of what others have had to face. All you need to remember is that God will never let you down. He'll never let you be pushed past your limit. He'll always be there to help you come through it." Wow, that's pretty reassuring, isn't it? God knows us inside out. He made us. Just like if you were to have made something out of Lego, then you would know every single little piece about it. Well, God made us, and it's kind of the same thing. God knows every single little piece that makes us up. But if God knows us this well, then He also knows the different limits that we may have. Just as the verse said when it stated that God will not let us be tempted beyond what you can bear. I find that so amazing, that He knows me well enough and loves me so much that He won't let me be tempted beyond my limits. Not only that, He has told me that He will also provide a way out from the temptation. I just find that so encouraging and useful, especially when things are difficult, as I know that God is there helping me. Hopefully this verse has expressed to you how much God loves us and has encouraged you if things are particularly difficult for you at the moment. However, this does not mean that life will be easy. In fact, in the Bible we learn that life as a Christian will be hard. Last week, Georgia told us a story about Rachel, who died because of what she believed. Life clearly wasn't that easy for her at that point. I'm sure that was probably the biggest test of her life. I'm sure it would have seemed very tempting for her to say, "I don't believe," which would have allowed her to live. It may be sometimes difficult to see how God was providing a way out for Rachel in that scenario, like He promises us He will in the verse we've just looked at. But maybe dying was the way out. This is extremely hard to take, but maybe her time on this earth was complete, and God's way of taking her out of that situation was to take her to heaven. Now, as I mentioned at the start, this is the last video on memory verses. I would strongly encourage you not to forget them, but instead to try and remember the verses we have shared with you over the last couple of months. Maybe just pick one in particular that really struck you and try to really learn it over the summer. If you wanted to learn this one but think it's a bit too long, then I'd encourage you to just try and learn a bit of it. Maybe just a bit from the Message where it says, "God will never let you down." For me, if I was to learn this verse, I would learn the bit in the NIV which says, "God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear." You could also find another verse that we've not looked at that has really struck you. When we're back in church together, I'd love to hear any of the verses that you've learned. Maybe I'll try and learn them as well. Although this is the last one of this series, Hannah is going to be starting a new series on 1 Corinthians 13 over the next few weeks. Make sure you stay tuned to find out more. As well as that, this month's Unplugged is now up. Sorry for it being late, but there are a couple of technical difficulties. But please now go and give it a watch if you haven't already, as we try to sum up the message behind the whole year at Unplugged. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all soon.